Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about software development life cycle. I am B. Sunita, Department of Computer Science, TSW RDCW, Warangal East. So, what is software development life cycle? The SDLC is a framework that describes the activities performed at each stage of software development. SDLC process is used by the software industry to design, develop and test high quality software. It aims to produce the quality software that meets or exceeds the customer expectations, reaches completion within time and budget. So here, this SDLC software framework, it helps you to achieve the desired software product within the time limits, within the budget limits and within the cost limits. It helps you to plan your project and deliver the project within the time limit. So what are the reasons, what are the various reasons for using the SDLC models? It provides base for project planning, estimating and scheduling. It also provides a standard for set of terminologies, activities and various deliverables that are to be transferred to the clients. It provides a mechanism for project tracking and controlling. So project tracking and controlling means at each stage of the time, at each phase of the software development, whether we are within the time limits and within the budget limits or not, otherwise we can control the project. It increases the visibility of project progress to all stakeholders. So we can track for the visibility as we keep the breakpoints and stages and time limits. So we can compare whether we are meeting or whether we are going as per the schedule or not. So we can change the plan if required. So what are the various phases of software development life cycle? The very first important phase is the requirement analysis, and next design phase, implementation phase, testing phase and evaluation phase. So what are the steps to be performed during the requirements analysis? So for any project, in order to implement it, so we need what are all the requirements for the project, or what the customer is expecting, or what are the clients are expecting. So to know that, first requirement analysis step is performed. So in this step we are going to gather business requirements, like what are all the required layouts and all those things. The next solution requirements, it is of two types, functional requirements and non-functional requirements. For example, functional requirement means if you have an online banking application, so in that every user must log in with his credential before access his account. It is a functional requirement, and at the same time, so the software should support at least 500 users at parallelly or concurrently. This is the non-functional requirement. Like that, so during the requirement analysis phase, both functional as well as non-functional requirements are gathered. And then transition requirements. For example, say, so what are all the changes that we may expect in the requirements? So just by identifying the future requirements, we will have some idea on transition requirements. And then comes how to define these requirements. So we are going to make use of these requirements gathered in the previous phase, and next a software document called SRS is prepared based on the requirements gathered, so that it acts as a base for further developing the software. So next, so once the requirements are completely analyzed and documented, then comes the design phase. So in the design phase, we are going to design how the software product should be at the end. So like for before constructing any building, we design the document or planning, so that end product or house will look like your plan. So similarly, software project need to be designed so that you can have a blueprint of software, so that you can achieve that design at the end. So we are going to develop a design document which consists of specifications based on requirements gathered and how many different modules are required, and what budgets, within what budget we need to complete the project, what are the different time constraints, like that. Based on that, you are going to design the document, which helps you further in the next phases. Next, developing the software. So once the designing is done, so during the requirements, what we have identified what is to be done. During the design phase, we have identified how it is to be done. Now it is actual implementation phase, that is using one of the software programming languages we can develop a software. Okay, in this stage actual development begins and your product is developed, and this is based on your design documents. Okay, so during this phase coding guidelines are followed and various software tools are used, and it helps you to design implement the project properly. Next, testing the software. So once designing is completed, implementation is also completed using one of the programming language. Next comes our testing phase. So during the testing phase, it is going to be tested whether all the requirements are satisfied or not. Okay, so generally this testing is involved in every phase of software development, so it is a part of every phase. In addition to that, at the end of the software development, so we have to go for another stage of testing to test whether you are going to satisfy the product is going to satisfy all the requirements or not, or is there any defects found, and if any defects are found, debugging is done. And the quality standards are also checked. And next comes deployment. Once the software is tested, no bugs are identified, then it is going to be deployed at the client location. Then based on the feedback, the software may be released as it is or with suggested enhancements in the target segment. After the software is deployed, then it is the maintenance phase. Okay, during the maintenance phase, if any future requirements are required, those has to be adapted, or if any problems identified, those has to be corrected. So based on these phases, various software development lifecycle models are proposed by the universities and standards. So these models helps you to understand, implement the SDLC phases, and they are going to help you to design the software in a desired way. So what are the advantages of choosing appropriate SDLC? It increases the development speed, it also increases product quality, and it makes ease of tracking and control, and it improves the client relations and decrease the project risk and management overhead. So what are the various models available? Waterfall model, iterative model, spiral model, agile model, V model, Big Bang model. Like these various models are there. Using one of the models, we can develop the software. So coming to the conclusion, so the software development lifecycle helps you to project management. So this, which in turn helps in planning, and it is a guide it guides the entire team. SDLC is mostly about people, processes, time management, and communication. Risks are inevitable. Planning helps to avoid them. Assessing the scope of work, timing, risks, and resources will lead to the project success. Thank you.